Okay, so this is part 2 of my tour of Fairmount, Indiana, and we are in the Fairmount Museum at this time, which is a museum mostly dedicated to the actor James Dean. And I'm giving kind of a tour here today. And after we complete the museum, we'll be continuing down Main Street and checking out and seeing what's there. So thank you all for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed this tour. And if you watched part 1, I hope you enjoyed that and got something out of it. Hand-painted porcelains by the artist Kenneth Kendall. Very nice. Oh, so there's his shaving kit. It's got his initials on it. And there he is, varsity basketball team. So his junior year of high school. And let's see, which one is him? I can't see it too. Oh, okay. First row, fourth, number 3. Wearing glasses. That's James Dean. So he was said to have broken quite a few pair of glasses playing basketball. Because like I said before, he had severe problems with his vision and couldn't see very well. So he had to wear glasses most of the time, I suppose. And while playing basketball even. So there's a tape player that James Dean used to practice his lines for Giant. Look at that. So Giant, directed by George Stevenson in 1955, and it was shot in the little town of Marfa, Texas. That's a town in southwest Texas, Marfa. Very small town, maybe 1,000 people, or not even that. I've been to Marfa, and you can see the oil rig there. And that's where those scenes were filmed. So he was said to stay in stayed with some of the crew members. I can't think right now. My mind just went blank. But they were there for approximately 2 weeks, I think, filming, and he was there, and they lived in a ranch house or farmhouse. They rented him and who was it? Some of the crew members. And then for entertainment, they went rabbit hunting between when they had time on their days off. They went out in the brush because there's absolutely nothing in that area of Texas. It's just tabletop flat with no vegetation, just like sagebrush. Now there's a picture that he drew of a matador and a bull, and that's a very good picture. I really like that picture. And as I said before, he was quite interested in bullfighting and was interested in pursuing that, maybe doing some bullfighting further down the line. But he did want to study that professionally. So let's see, personal letters. That's from actress Pier Angeli to James Dean. They were said to be romantically linked, and she was Catholic, so there was a problem because James Dean was a Methodist and she was Catholic, and her mother was therefore against the relationship. So that didn't pan out. So there's a book on Pancho Villa, owned, read, and signed by James Dean during the filming of Giant. So he read that book. There's a script signed by the cast of Rebel Without a Cause. And that was filmed in March of 1955. Director Nicholas Ray, and starring James Dean, Natalie Wood, and Dennis Hopper, and Sal Mineo. Those were the principals. And that movie was filmed in March, and it was released posthumously in October of 1955, approximately 2 weeks after James Dean had passed away in his car crash. And the studio was very nervous and was almost not going to release it or something. They felt that it was going to be a flop because of the tragedy behind James Dean, but it turned out to be a huge hit and cemented his fame. Huh. Here's a poster of John. There's quite a bit in here. It's a lot to take in. I mean, I could spend an hour, maybe 2 hours, just poring over stuff, reading all the documents and everything, because I find that stuff really interesting. And these look like contracts that he signed with Warner Brothers. I can't really read it. Now, he was said to have been on the verge of signing, or had just about to sign, a contract with Warner Brothers for a 7-year contract for 11 pictures, something like that. And he was very interested in a movie, in playing the boxer in a movie called Somebody Up There Likes Me. So that was to be his next picture after Giant. And he had already been cast in that. And then he had the car accident. And so his role in that movie of Rocky somebody, well, she just said it. I don't know the name of the guy, but anyhow, that movie was filmed with Paul Newman in his role that he was going to take, or that he had been set up for. So there's picture of him. That's from Rebel. Looks like an outtake or between scenes. That's him. I don't know who the guy in the middle is. Natalie Wood and who's that other guy? I don't know. I don't know. But this one is him. Left to right, James Dean, Natalie Wood, and Jim Bacchus, who played his father. On the far left, I don't know the name of the guy. I think he played the police chief, the tall guy. Pardon?
Here, pause it and I'll tell you.
Huh?
You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Okay, it's William Hopper who played Natalie Wood's dad.
Oh, William Hopper? Was that? Oh, okay.
His mom was Hedda Hopper, the famed gossip
Oh,
columnist.
okay. So this guy, his name is William Hopper. He played James Dean's father in Rebel Without a Cause, and his mother was Hedda Hopper. So that's an actor I'm not familiar with. You didn't see him a lot, so.
He was in Perry Mason.
Perry Mason. Okay, there you go. Now, what about this guy?
It's Nick Adams. He played the rebel on TV. The one on the end is Perry Lopez, who was a good friend of Jimmy's.
To the right, with her hand on his head.
That's Nick Adams.
Okay, Nick Adams.
And then
Natalie Wood and
Perry Lopez.
Perry Lopez.
He was like an actor as well, but he was good friends with Jimmy. There's a lot of Sanford Roth photos of him playing chess with Jimmy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the supporting cast that much, except the principals. So that's Nick Adams then. Okay. That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he became good friends with Elvis.
Oh, okay. And so he was friends with Natalie Wood too. And she told this story years later in an interview where during a lunch break or at the end of shooting, she rode on the back of his motorcycle and they went to eat lunch. This was during the filming of Rebel. And they stopped at a newsstand and she said, "Oh, look, there's an article about you." So he picked the article up and took a look at it and kind of scoffed at it and threw it down. So he didn't want to make a big thing out of it. Do you know the name of the movie that he was interested in playing a outlaw, but I can't think of the name of the outlaw. Billy the Kid, was it Billy the Kid or?
It was his next movie was going to be somebody up there like playing Rocky Graziano.
Rocky Graziano, that's who it was, yeah.
And then the following one was going to be Left-Handed Gun.
Left-handed.
Playing Billy the Kid.
Left-handed gun.
Yeah.
Playing Billy the Kid. So that was another role that he was up for, that he was interested in. And did Paul Newman take that role in Left-Handed Kid, or was that a
Left-Handed Gun?
Left-Handed Gun?
Paul Newman got both roles.
Got both roles. Yeah, Paul Newman got a lot of roles that Jimmy was up for. And that was one of them. The left-handed hand of God. Left-handed God. He wanted to play Billy the Kid. He really wanted that role, which he would have been good in too, because that goes along the theme of a rebel. But I saw that film, Somebody Up There Likes Me, and I wasn't that impressed with it. I mean, I don't think it was as good as some other movies about boxers, like Rocky and what's that one Robert De Niro played in? But I didn't think that script was that good. So here's a newspaper article from Marion. Yeah. And this one's Los Angeles Examiner. That was front page news back in the day. Bobby Sox idol James Dean dies in auto crash. And that's big 1-inch headlines. And that was September 30th, 1955. Big news. And bear in mind, that was before, he was not well known at the time of his death. Only one of his pictures had been released, East of Eden, in 1954. But of course, there was a buzz around him from his performance in that. But he was not well known at all. And prior to his casting in that, he had done a lot of television, teleplays, and so forth. Here's a poster for East of Eden. I think I have that poster. So again, he received 2 Academy Award nominations posthumously, one for East of Eden as his role as Cal Trask in East of Eden, and the other was his role in Giant as Jeb. I don't remember his name, but it was as this antagonist in that movie, Giant, directed by George Stevens and released in 1956. And he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for both of those roles. Didn't win. 1954, it was Ernest Borgnine who won Best Supporting Actor. He was up against. Okay, so there's 2 knives that were used in Rebel Without a Cause. Oh, wow, those are big knives. Switchblades, maybe. Very dangerous. And there's his briefcase. And there's a shirt that he wore, evidently. Okay, so there's the house from, Giant. That's the house Elizabeth Taylor and Rock Hudson lived in, Giant. So I don't know if that actually was in Martha or if it's still standing there. I have no idea. But I have been to the town of Martha. It's kind of an artist's colony now. And it's known for the Marfa lights, which are some mysterious lights that you can see in the distance. They don't know what they are. They think it's some kind of optical illusion, but you can see lights blinking. If you go to this particular spot in the desert and look toward the border. Okay, so there's his 1955 Triumph 500 motorcycle. And that was banned from the Warner Brothers lot because he had too many speeding incidents, it says. It's a 55 Triumph. So that's his transportation that he rode around LA in. Oh, that's a nice bike. Okay, so that completes this room. We'll take a quick look upstairs and check that out. There's Old Time Fairmount, Business Street, it says. Interesting. Because you see a lot of traffic on there, a lot of cars parked, unlike today. Olive Rush, Hoosier artist. Indiana Hoosiers. Now that term, Hoosier, that came from World War I or World War II, where there was a ban on, or scarcity of nylon stockings, aka Hoosiers. Look at that old jumbo gas well, 1900 to 1902. I just love old pictures like this. Look at this one. How old that is. Okay, so we have some Indian Head artifacts in this little room. It's Olivia de Havilland in the Snake Pit. And look at this old radio and television set. Look how small it was. Motorola. That's when they first started making television sets. So I'm guessing that's dates from the late 1940s, early 50s. And switchboard. Old-fashioned telephone. old typewriters, Polaroid, vacuum tube. Okay.